Hi, I'm Sean Fedorko, the host of Your Money Counts, a Marquette Savings Bank podcast. Today we're talking about first-time home buyers. If you've listened to any of our previous episodes, you know that I myself am in the process of looking for a home. I'm a first-time home buyer, and I've got a lot of questions. Lucky for me, I have the experts from Marquette Savings Bank here to talk with me about this process. But before we do that, we always want to know our banker. And so we're going to ask them to introduce themselves and tell us their favorite pizza toppings.
I'm Kelly Pratt from Marquette Savings Bank in Meadville, and I'm the branch manager at our Vernon Township office. My favorite toppings would probably be anything but meat.
Anything but meat. Okay, a lot of options still.
Yeah. Tricia Snook. I am the manager of the Steritania office here in Erie. And I think I'm going to have to go with the Hawaiian. Ham,
Oh, those are
pineapple,
good.
bacon.
Yeah,
Those
that's
are good.
incredibly offensive, but we'll continue anyway.
My name's Michael Kitts. I am the assistant manager at the 920 Peach Street office. I've never met a pizza I didn't like. But at home, I guess a cheese and mushroom. I order a half because none of my kids or wife will eat the mushroom, so
I'm with them.
I got to throw it on the
Okay,
side.
fair enough. And I'm going to go ahead and apologize to all the fans out there who do like Hawaiian pizza. Like I understand you're wrong, but I can tolerate.
Pineapple does belong on pizza.
Okay. Well, let's move on to something we can all agree on, which is that we'd like me to buy a home. And so we're going to ask some questions like, well, what do I do, right? So I come bumbling through the doors. Someone like me, young millennial, handsome, charming, witty, comes in, and I don't know where to begin. Can I just come sit down and have someone tell me what steps to take? Is there like a flyer?
We have flyers.
Oh,
We
good.
have
Some brochures.
brochures.
Okay. But you'll also tell me the answers too, right?
Absolutely.
I just pop in and I can just start asking questions. No cost. It's okay.
Happens all the time.
Okay.
Happens every day. We've got people walking in
No
all
commitment.
the time. No commitment. Absolutely. It's a little overwhelming. So sometimes even getting through that first step of maybe even picking up the phone and calling and making an appointment makes it feel so official.
Do I need to make an appointment?
You can, absolutely, but it's not required. Sometimes you might be just on the fly and decide, hey, you know what? Today's the day I'm going to stop and ask those questions. And we would love for anybody, anytime, to stop in and talk to one of the loan officers. The nice thing is once you meet them, they can remain your point of contact 6 months, a year, 2 weeks. There's no time commitment. You might not be 100% ready. You just have a couple questions. And we encourage anybody to stop in and ask those questions when they do.
Well, it's a big process. Getting a little information about it helps, especially early on. Sure.
Yeah, it's a big process, and for the most part, it's one of the biggest investments that an individual or a couple will make in their lives is a home, and planning that out and knowing the steps throughout and the process and what is needed and the whole 9 yards, I think is something that everyone should be really doing.
So in the interest of getting that, kind of first experience, that first knowledge, so I kind of know what to even be thinking about. I've been renting my whole life, just beginning to look and learn. I've sat down with you today and in other instances in these podcasts. What's the first piece of advice you might give me? So let's start there. I don't have a specific question, and I say, hey, I'm just thinking about this. Each of you are experts, so share a piece of advice that you would give to me or somebody else in my situation.
I think to start, I'd say stay in your parents' basement as long as you can.
Okay, Dad, you can turn this off right now. Yeah, Mike, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Somewhere for me, I like to start with budgets. I think that's first-time home buyers. Where are you? How much does it cost for you to live right now? What do you think you can live with, and what is a payment that you had in mind? I think that's somewhere where I like to. I don't know, me anyway. I like to start with that.
So first piece of advice, Mike, is get a handle on your budget.
Yeah.
Like figure out exactly where your money goes and how that is going to change when you get a home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. To build off that, when you are renting, you may not think about the fact that sometimes your rent includes all your utilities. Well, when you own a home now, your utilities aren't going to be included. You might have renter's insurance, but now you're going to have homeowner's insurance, which is typically going to cost you a little bit more.
You have taxes to pay.
You have taxes to pay. You're going to have unexpected things that happens. Your hot water tank breaks now. If you're renting, you call your landlord and they fix it for you. Now it's your responsibility. Every major appliance in the house, there are some added expenses that you want to make sure you are thinking about and budgeting for down the road.
That's kind of interesting. So it sounds like a good piece of advice is, well, get some referrals. Who's going to be your electrician? Who's going to be your plumber? Like, get some trusted
Absolutely.
names so that you're prepared when these new shocks kind of pop up in the morning and there's no hot water.
That can absolutely help.
Yeah.
Okay.
YouTube can be your friend.
Yeah.
Right.
If we're a little,
Personal experience.
I'm a bit of a Mr. Fix-It. Okay.
I try first.
Just buy
anyway.
some tools. Try not to do more damage than what you started with. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what do you suggest, Kelly?
How much do you plan on putting down? Where's your savings account at that, money that you've saved? I enjoy talking with first-time homebuyers because we're educating them, on the process. And a lot of times, and you don't know what closing costs are. Oh, I didn't think I needed to put any down payment money down, or it actually, the biggest thing is they're finding out that actually costs to buy a home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's more than just the monthly cost of the mortgage. It's the how much does it cost cash to close?
Right. Right.
It's the cash.
It's not just making a mortgage payment versus a rent payment. There's, the closing costs involved.
Okay, so we're talking a lot about costs that I may not have as a renter. I may not anticipate, or even if I anticipate taxes. Okay, cool. I know I'm going to pay taxes if I own a property, but I couldn't for the life of me tell you the taxes that my friends pay on properties that they own, so I don't really know how to estimate that yet. Let's suppose that I need some kind of assistance. Are there programs to help me as I discover what these costs are and start looking for ways to tackle them?
When you are looking to buy a home, one of the things is you can shop for an insurance agent, shop for who's going to, be the insurance agent for your homeowner's insurance. So policies, what you include in your insurance policy, that can vary. Different locations in the area, the taxes are different. So, that can affect that's going to affect your escrow.
I have another question on this insurance. It's interesting. So when I go to buy a car, I need to have proof of insurance, right? Because I can't drive around my, 1-ton giant metal bullet without insurance. So do I need insurance for homeowners? Do I need homeowners insurance in order to buy the house? Do I need to get that first?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. So,
We would encourage it, and it is required.
Right.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So just like
Yeah.
buying a car, I have to have
Yes.
insurance to buy the house. So I should be shopping around beforehand. What about other programs that might be available through Marquette? What might be able to help me?
Yeah, there is. We happen to have a first-time home buyer program. It helps alleviate some of these costs. Conventional financing, minimum down payment required be 5%. We have a program that offers 3% on the first-time home buyer program, so it cuts the cost, the upfront cash to close down a little bit. Eliminates the private mortgage insurance. If you're not putting 20% down, it's this insurance that, is required that you have. It eliminates that completely.
Right.
So it's a nice, that helps on the monthly day-to-day cost. But yeah, it's a good program that we offer here internally.
In addition, sorry.
Yeah.
In addition to that, there are some programs through the Federal Home Loan Bank of Pittsburgh, which is like the funding with Marquette. They offer what's called the First Front Door program that I think some people may have heard about, maybe through their realtors or just in general. But it is kind of a grant program where they will match $3 to your $1 to put towards closing costs.
Up to $5,000.
Up to a maximum of $5,000. So there absolutely are, just to answer your question, different programs out there that we can talk to individuals about, depending on their situation.
Can you qualify for both of those? So can I qualify for both the hometown mortgage program and the first front door program?
Absolutely, they kind of go hand in hand with each other.
So a bunch of these stack.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, as I'm going through this process, let's say I have questions like that. I don't remember all the terms of the first front door program. can I just call you at any time? Do I have to set up an appointment? If I heard about something, referred by a friend, and I want to see if it's something I can utilize. I know, here in Erie, there's a new LERTA. Okay, well, if I want to know about that, can I just call you up anytime?
Absolutely. Or you can go right on our website and we have the option to schedule an appointment right on the website that you can pick your closest branch, pick your loan officer, schedule an appointment by phone or in person, whatever works for your schedule. You absolutely can even look at doing pre-qualifications right online. So we have a lot of those options. But the nice thing with us is, you're not going to have somebody that calls you 1,000 times over and over
You're not making
again.
a hard sell.
Right.
Right.
Right. There's no obligation. We encourage anybody to schedule an appointment or to stop in and talk to us.
When you mentioned your website, are there any other resources on the website? So, sometimes it just helps to do a little bit of Googling and reading before I come in so I can ask a knowledgeable question. Is there like a, library of information there?
Yeah, there's a link with resources galore, loan calculators, and difference of more down payment. What's that going to do to your payment and some of the costs, and lots of good information resources out there available online.
There's a glossary of terms to give you definitions of some of these words that we're using.
Yeah, like mortgage and escrow and
Right.
PMI and
Right.
homeowners. Yeah, of course. Okay.
There's an explanation for all that.
Are there any terms we missed? While that's on the
Yeah, that's
top of our mind. Any other terms
think
people
about
ask
that.
about frequently? No, we hit on a
off
bunch
the top of my head. No, I think we did.
Okay, good. Wow,
lot-
we
a
are
lot of the main
thorough.
ones anyway.
We are thorough. Well, what else? Is there anything else? Or let's say this. Let's not do the things that come to mind. Let's talk about the most important things. What's the most important thing for a first-time home buyer to know?
That's a tough question, I guess. To
I'd say there's a lot.
yeah,
I don't
there's
think
a
there's
lot.
one.
It's a moving target.
So
there's multiple.
It sounds like the most important thing for a home buyer to know is not to get fooled into thinking you have all the information already. So it's dense.
Yeah.
There's no like, one secret fact. With mortgages, it's not just about the interest rate. There are all kinds of things you got to factor in. With buying your home, it's insurance, it's inspections, it's budgeting. It's really something that you want somebody guiding you through a process. And we've got that person kind of at Marquette.
I think the cost, giving the customer the cost estimate tells them a lot. I mean, because it's got, if they're escrowing, it's got their taxes in there, their insurance, it includes all that. So that gives them a lot of information. It includes, on that, we're going to put what they're thinking about putting as a down payment.
I think a big aspect is knowing, what you can afford as well. You don't want to go into a home and fall in love and come back and realize that, you're not able to afford that home on our paper. So getting, that pre-qualification process and starting through and knowing, how much you can go shop for is important. Like I said, it's hard to identify one. I think there's, a lot of steps, and I think that's, where it's nice to have a point of contact throughout that whole process.
One thing I'd add that I don't think we touched on was credit as well. I think it never hurts to monitor your credit. Never hurts to have an idea where your credit might stand before you come in and talk to us. But if you don't, it's not something that we can help you through. And if we do find that, maybe that's one piece that's missing, that you maybe need a little advice on some credit building. It might not be something that you qualify for now, but we can give you some tips and some steps and some local resources that you can use here in Erie. If you don't qualify at this point, it doesn't mean that we can't help you, so that 6 months down the road or a year down the road, you might need to do a little bit of credit building and then come back to us and visit you. But we never just shut you out. We're going to give you some advice and some resources
Right.
that you can
might have
follow
to
up with to help.
You might have to do a little homework
Yeah.
on the credit side to get you to where you need to be
And
to move forward.
Talking earlier is better in case something like that
definitely.
is a problem we discover.
It's never too early to start planning, right?
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close out this subject?
I mean, I guess that's kind of, part of my favorite thing about the first time home buyers is just seeing the success at the end. seeing someone that actually did need to go through some credit process, and it's 2 years later that you've been working with this person, and they come in and the joy and gratitude that they have. I mean, it's why I love what I do. Sums it up in a nutshell.
I would agree with that. There's nothing better than to see the smile on their face when you hand them that final commitment letter that you maybe have been working with them. Like you said, there are some customers that, we've worked with for a year, 2 years, that you've really helped build them up and gotten them to the point where they finally are able to realize their dream and move into their home and provide for their family. Yeah. There's nothing better.
Well, that's great. I feel a little more informed, as a first-time home buyer. Maybe you have a little bit better sense of what my resources are and how to reach out. As we wrap up today, I am Sean Fedorko, the host of Your Money Counts, a podcast brought to you by Marquette Savings Bank. I encourage you to go to marquettesavings.bank, schedule an appointment with any of our fine loan officers. Talk to them face-to-face, talk to them on the phone, but make sure that you start your process early so you can learn, like I am, about everything you're going to need to prepare for as you buy your first home. And tune into the next podcast where we'll continue learning more about how your money counts. Have a good day.